Hello and welcome to another episode on my YouTube channel. My name is Markus Warlick. I'm the product specialist for professional audio products in Sony Europe. In the other episode you have seen, hopefully, we talk a lot about the digital wireless system from Sony, the DWX series. Today I will show you something from the UWP-D series, which is the latest version of the mid-size systems from Sony. Before we have a look on this fantastic thing, that is the URX-S03D, a 2-channel slot-in receiver. Before we have a look on this, let's talk a little bit about the UWP-D series. So UWP is Universal Wireless Packages that starts in 2001 from Sony, comes with always a receiver and a transmitter in one box, and you get all the cables, a microphone, XLR cable, a cold shoe. This was all in the box, and we have 3 different versions of these. The D11, the D12 and the D16, which I will show in another video more detailed. But the idea was in 2001 to make a system which is much lower in cost than the system which existed at this time. So usable for everyone who is doing videos in professional or semi-professional area. It starts with the S series. You'll find a lot of links in the internet about this. It was the same size like the series today, but a small display, plastic housing, and a little bit different from the internal stuff. And then in 2008 we start with the V series, and the V series was decast aluminium, a little bigger display, some more features. And then in 2013 we start with the D series, and D is in this way for digital. So what we have done is not a full digital system. You cannot do a full digital system in this price range with this budget we have. But what we could do a digital compounding. So the problem of FM analog modulated system is that the compounder is an analog part in the system, which brings the dynamic to the 200 kilohertz band which we have. Anyway, of this, the digital compounder can do it much more precisely. So what we have done, we put a digital compounder inside the system, but still using the cost efficiency FM modulation for the transmission. So getting audio signal in, do it digital, make the compression, get back to analog, make the transmission, and after transmission in the receiver we go back to digital, expand the signal and go back to analog. It's just 0.7 milliseconds, so it's very, very short, but it gives you a better signal noise ratio, better frequency response, and especially a better impulse response than what we had before. So it is a half digital system. What we have today, and this is the important part, is the URX-S03D. This one. URX is Universal Receiver, S03D is S is for slot in, and it's the version 3, and D is for double, so it's the 2-channel. So this is a 2-channel true diversity receiver. Works in every camcorder from Sony we have ever made with a slot. The old camcorders before 2008 had only 1 channel of audio in, and have less or provide less power in the power supply. That's why the digital series is not working in these slots. But with this one, the half digital or half analog, whatever you think, is working in these camcorders. So any camcorder we have made where you have a slot where you can put in the slot-in receiver, this system is doing the job. It is fully metal, has a great display, 45-degree shape, so you can see it even it's in the camcorder behind you. Has also the infrared sync and some other stuff. On top of these, we have done a new body pack. It's the UTX-B03HR. HR is for HIROS, so it has these 4-pin HIROS connector Sony is using since, I don't know, 35 years on their body packs. It's internal the same than the standard body pack we have, like this one, the UTX-B03, but the B03 has the mini jack and this has the HIROS. So yeah, it's very simple. Put 2 batteries inside and then you can start your system by pressing the power button and job done. Okay, I will power up the system. I do it in my case here with the USB. but you don't have an USB on your device if you buy one. This is just for the pre-production sample to do some tests. So very simple. Channel 1 powers on channel 1, channel 2 powers on channel 2. The idea to have two switches is to save some energy, because you use the energy of the camcorder battery. So if you don't need channel 2, you switch it simply off, and then you save half of the energy. Then you have the menu button, which gives you the different menu points. So it's URX-1, it's URX-2, and then you are back on this overview, which gives you an overview about the two channels. If you go then to the plus and minus buttons, you can switch to the different menu points for the receiver himself. So its utility is analog out, URX-1, or the analog out can be URX-2, or it can be a mix. So press the set button for 2 seconds. That is for all Sony receivers in every version the same. And then you say analog out is URX-1 and URX-2. This mix the two analog channels to one output, which is very useful if an older camcorder which do not have two analog inputs or two digital inputs. Then it makes sense to mix the two channels to one output, to still using two different transmitters, but having both on one audio channel in the camcorder. And then you have analog out can be URX-2, or you are still back on URX-1. And then you have the AES-CPU output. So there is an AES-CPU output, a full digital output, which can have different setups. It's -36 linear, or you go to 20 dB stereo limiting, or you have 20 dB limiting for channels individual. And then you have also the sync source. You have an external clock, or you have an internal clock. That's the three things. Normally you do auto, because this receiver switch automatically if you have an external clock available. And of course 75 ohm is the word clock termination. Yeah, that's all. There's some timing which says or which gives the information how many hours and minutes your receiver was switched on. You press the set button and you can clear these or reset this timing to 000, and then again it starts and give you hours and minutes of running time. That's all for the utility. Contrast is display and reset and factory reset, and then it's the software versions. If you go to the URX-1, then you have the channel 1 of the receiver, which is in this case channel 38. It is the sub frequency number 6, and it's the frequency 606150 megahertz. Then you can change to some submenus. So it's auto set, TV band, a clear channel scan, which gives you all 3 available channels in this channel. You can sync this by infrared to the transmitter, and of course you can change the compander to use different models of the Sony radio mics from the last 20 years. An active channel scan shows you all active channels, and Squelch is if you have really to cover a wide range, then maybe your Squelch is too high, you can switch it off, and then you can use transmitters which don't use pilot tone, and this will work well. But if the transmitter is off, then you have some noise on your output. So that's all for the receiver setup. Let's go a little bit and have a look on the different setup modes. So if you press on the first page of this receiver menu the set button for 2 seconds, then you can change here between different frequency ranges. So that is the channels. So it's channel 38 or 40, or it is 000 is a group with 125 kilohertz steps, but there's 7 pre-programmed groups which are intermodulation free to each other. But you can use also the channel 38 or 39 or 40, and then you see here it is switching in 25 kilohertz steps. So the minimum step from one frequency to the next one is 25 kilohertz. If you do this, yeah, it's take it over, and then you go to auto setup. The system is doing now a scan, and it looks for 3 available frequencies, which is simply a measurement of the noise. And you see it's doing the next 24 megahertz. And if it's ready, it shows you a sync, and it's done by infrared. And you see now it is synced to the body pack or to the transmitter. If I say yes, haven't done, then it took over the frequency from the receiver to the transmitter. I was too slow, so it has not done the sync, but I can go here inside and do a sync manual. Press the button for 2 seconds, say yes, and now it's doing the same sync. And now I say yes, and you see there is RF and you have transmission. Some more options. Compounder is the different compaunders we have in the Sony systems since the last, I think, 35 years. It's UWP series, it's the WL800 series, and it's the UWP-D series, which is this one. So UWP is the V and the S series from the last 15 years, and then we have W800, which is a series starts in 1988. So all these old handhelds we have and all the body packs we have sold in the last 35 years. And it's, you know, there's no tone because the transmitter is doing some RF. You see the RF on the display, but the audio is not, sorry, I was too quick. The audio is not going to the output because the demodulation is wrong and there is no pilot tone. Yeah. If you use the W800 pilot tone setup, then you can use also transmitters from other manufacturers because their pilot tone is very, very similar to our one. It's just some hertz between these pilot tone. If you do this, then you can have a look on or listen to the audio. If you like it, you can use the transmitters from the competition. It will work fine, but not official supported from Sony. So it's on your own risk if you do this. Okay, active channel scan is a function where the receiver starts scanning the frequencies which are available in the or in the group you have chosen before, or if you use a TV channel, is scanning the whole TV channels in 25 kilohertz steps, or if you use a group at 125 kilohertz steps, and it shows you if there is some other RF level, if there is some other transmission established, and that is the frequency you cannot use before because it's used from another transmission. Press the button for 2 seconds, press plus, and it starts scanning, and you see now it's running at 125 kilohertz steps because I have chosen group 7. And if there is some RF around you in one of these frequencies, it shows you here on the right side the RF level and stops and say there is something. So last point in the menu is the squelch level. So squelch is input RF level barrier. If or an input level we have set up, if the RF level is under this squelch level, then we mute the output. It's over the squelch level, we open the audio output. It avoids you from having a very, very loud noise on your audio out if the receiver has no, or if there is no transmission established, if there is no transmitter working on this frequency range. Yep, so there is no real transmission at the moment working because we have chosen the wrong channels. This here is on channel, this is on channel 008 and this is on channel 001. So what we do is we can do an automatic sync or we choose again the auto set function, press the button, let the system scan the RF frequency range, and if the receiver finds a free not occupied frequency, it will send this by infrared from this infrared transmitter to this infrared receiver on the transmitter. So yeah, sync, say yes, and now you see there is audio and RF. Okay, that was the first look on the new 2-channel slot-in receiver from Sony, the URX URX-S03D. We will do some more videos about the slot-in receiver if we have some camcorders available, and then we will do some hands-on and show how it works together with the camcorder, and then you have a look on the camcorder menu and see what you can see in the viewfinder and things like this. I hope you get some useful information about the product, and thanks for watching.